Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never ever alone. Now, here on Invisible Condition, we get it. Like I get it. Okay. Sometimes life with an invisible condition can be kind of tough. And some days are better than others, right? I mean, I'm 7 brain surgeries in from because of my invisible condition. So believe me, I get it. Here's the thing, though. Yes, there are tough days. There is also always hope. There's always hope. So even on the tough days, right? So if you out there somewhere are finding yourself without hope and you're kind of having a rough day and it's getting worse, you're like, where's the hope? Uh shoot me an email and just put hope in the subject line and I'll get back to you. I don't like it when people don't have hope, so I want to help you. Also, if you're watching on one of these platforms here, you can also just drop a comment in Facebook or YouTube, wherever you happen to be watching. Just put hope, and or send us a DM or something and let us know. I just, hope is important. Hope is a big deal. So I just want to make sure everybody's got that intact. So, all right, that's it for that. Now, I want to introduce you to our guest. So our guest today is Dr. Gloria Vanderhorst, and she is a licensed psychologist with over 30 years of experience helping people navigate emotional struggles that often are not seen from the outside. And so Dr. Vanderhorst's work spans across all kinds of things: anxiety and trauma and life transitions and relationship concerns, with a really unique perspective shaped by her background in developmental psychology. So through her virtual practice, which is actually a really good idea. That's pretty stinking brilliant. Have a virtual practice. Then you're not tied to an office all the time. That's brilliant. Dr. Vanderhorst brings a powerful message of hope. Hello, hey, there's that word again. That growth and healing are possible at every and any stage of life. So I totally agree with that. So let's bring Gloria on here and hit the ground running.
Hi,
Hey,
Jeff.
Gloria, thank you so much for being here. Hello.
So
Thank
I
you.
love your emphasis on hope. That's
Yes.
fantastic.
Yes. I don't mess around, man. Hope is a big deal. Yeah.
It is a big deal.
Yeah. In fact, I like to say, if you don't have hope, you're dead in the water already. You gotta get that back, man. So yeah, for sure. In fact, that's the first question I was going to ask you. I ask everybody the same question when they come on the show. Before we get going with what we're talking about today, I always have the same question that I like to ask everybody, and that is, on the tough days, how do you maintain hope?
That is a fabulous question. We are all born connected to another person.
Yep.
We spend our lives seeking connection. And I would say to you that connection with someone else, whether it is a person that you could reach out and touch, whether it is that's long gone, right, who had powerful influence on you, or someone that you're expecting to meet in an afterlife, being connected to another is really the definition of hope. That will indeed stir hope in everyone.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love it. See, I'm telling you. See, everybody. For those of you that have been watching, I say it every time, but I'm right. There's never been a bad answer to that question. So it's a good, because everybody loves the idea of hope, and there's always a great answer. So Thank you. Yeah, and by the way, if whoever is out there, I mean, wherever you're watching from, by the way, audience, hello, thank you for being here. So appreciate you being here and watching. Uh, as we are here, and Gloria and I are having this conversation today, if there's anything that Gloria says during the conversation, or I say during the conversation, whatever, and you're like, whoa, that's not what I prefer. I don't know if I agree with that, or hey, I have a question about that, or I want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Drop a comment in Facebook or YouTube if you happen to be watching there, and we can kind of go back and forth on there, and then also if you I'm going to put this up here, and this will be there for the vast majority of the time we're here, and that QR code is her website. And Gloria, just give us a little glimpse of what we're going to find when people scan on that QR code.
Yeah, when you go to my website, first of all, you're going to find information about me. That's normal. That's natural, right? But
So.
you're also going to find information about the two most effective approaches to therapy, and that's internal family systems and emotion-focused therapy. You'll find videos, you'll find articles. You're going to find all of my blogs from day one. All right. So you can dive into those if you want, and basic information about why participate in therapy, who belongs in therapy, what brings you to therapy, what do you expect when you come into therapy. So it's a rich dive if you go to my website.
Nice. Love that. Because a lot of people, I was one of them, that was like, my sister, Jennifer, who lived in California at the time, and she called me and she said, Jeff, this was so cool. Joe and I, her husband's Joseph, he goes, Joe and I just went through this amazing counseling and you got to do it. And I was like, Jen, you've been married less time than we have. I've only been married like 9 years. We haven't had time to get in trouble yet. Why are we talking about this? She goes, no, you don't understand. This stuff is amazing. The method was incredible. You could always be better, right?
That's right.
Oh crap! All right, I guess you're right. Okay, and so we did, and it was like changing. It was an intensive model. It was like 5 days, spaced out, and it was 2 or 3 hours a time, and it was kind of the idea was to teach the couple the tools,
right?
And then you release them, and then they got them, right? Yeah. And so
we can always grow, right?
Yes.
We can always learn.
And so I love that. And so and I'm so glad that, and by the way, that person that we went to for counseling, we still talk to this day because she's amazing, and she's been on the show twice.
Oh,
so
fabulous.
so it's pretty awesome. So I am a huge fan of what you do, and it's a beautiful thing. So before we dive into that, I mean, the show's called Invisible Condition, right? So is there anything in there that you relate to, the invisible challenge that maybe motivated you to go into this line of work?
Well, it's really interesting. Talk about an invisible condition, all right? I was born with spina bifida, an open spine, right, in the lumbar region. My parents had no idea whether I would ever walk.
Right.
Not, right?
Yeah.
And I did walk at 3. And so from 3 forward, right, that disability was invisible, right?
Yeah.
Nobody could tell that I was born with that risk and didn't walk until I was 3.
I mean, 3 for spina bifida, that's pretty awesome. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's the normal range is around like 12, like 10 to 14 months, somewhere in there, right? Something like that,
right.
Maybe.
Right. But because actually early on, well, when I was born, 1946, the risk of infection was so high, right, that you would die of infection. And in fact, I think my parents had the option of leaving me in the hospital to die of infection.
Oh.
Right? And they decided to take me home.
Yeah. Well,
for which I'm grateful.
Thank God for that. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Well done, parents.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah. I mean, for me, just a little glimpse into my value system. I would choose life 10 out of 10 times. So
Sure.
yeah, life is important, and so
Right.
if you're alive, let's keep you that way.
That's right.
If we
Right.
can.
And then when you're alive, actually choosing life is the next step, right?
You're glad that your parents didn't, choose death for you. Why not choose life for the next generation too,
That's
right?
right.
So yeah, hello.
That's right.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
when you're struggling with something, when problems pop up too often, we choose to ignore them. All right. So your sister's message to you was, hey, all right, choose to take a deeper dive into who you are as a
Yeah.
spouse and what your marriage is all about. It
Mhm.
is, choose to live, which really means give yourself an opportunity to grow, to expand, right, to improve. And that was a beautiful message she sent.
Totally. And you know what? It's proved to be incredibly valuable lately, because over the last few weeks we've gone back to Pauline. Her name is Dr. Pauline Dillard.
Uh-huh.
And she, even this many years later, that was in 2008. So almost 20 years later, 18 years later, we're going back to her because something else has popped up with my whole medical history and stuff, and some crazy stuff that I'm encountering, kind of peeling back the onion. And so we're like, well, I mean, who better? So we're going back to her, and we're, going diving in again. So it's,
Yeah.
so I'm still
always have that opportunity to grow. It's just
Exactly.
take advantage of it. Reach out, take
Exactly.
advantage of it.
And, I figure once every 18 years, that's not terrible. It's, why not? So anyway, so spinal bifida, that is amazing, by the way, because you don't hear about a lot of kids walking. I mean, walking without, and when you say walking at 3, it wasn't like walking with assistant, like walking.
No, it was walking.
Like
Nobody
on your own. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Because that's not always, I mean, every case is different, of course, but I mean, that's not always the norm.
It is not the norm at all.
Yeah.
Not for that condition.
Awesome. That is, so you're a trendsetter. There you go. So well, okay. So from your decades of experience as a psychologist, has trauma shown up? How does trauma in your experience show up differently, like across generations, like in the baby boomer generation versus Gen X versus the next one, and then I lose track after Gen X, but they're all called
right. I lost track of the next ones.
Yeah. Millennial, and then Gen Y, and then Gen Z, and then I don't even know after that. So,
but each generation does have their own relationship to trauma.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So my parents went through a world war. Right.
Yeah.
So I have never had that experience. I went through Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Right. My daughter has never had that experience. Right. Each generation has its own struggles, has things to confront. There are dramatic changes that are happening now, right, for the next generation. If you think about, what robotics are going to do for the children that are coming into the world, it will be dramatically different.
Yeah.
So we do have to understand that each generation has its own history. There's a root to the way in which they relate to the world around them. You might look at your parents or your grandparents and say, well, why don't they tell more stories? Why aren't they emotional, right? Why aren't they disclosing more about their own histories? Well, in the generation that they grew up in, you were not to be emotional, All
Yeah.
right. You were
Yeah.
not to talk about your troubles or your history. You're supposed to keep everything inside, buck
Yeah.
up, just move forward. All right. We
Yeah.
now have access to excellent mental health care, but that wasn't the case a generation or
No.
two ago.
Mm-mm. No.
So we have to take that into consideration, and we're actually on the cusp of a very unusual shift in mental health care, and
Okay.
that is if you look at the advertising on the television and focus on what they're doing with men right now. It's a shocker, right?
How so? What do you mean by that? I
Because
think I know where you're going with that, but
yeah,
go ahead.
advertising is portraying men and boys as infantile, as
Mm.
stupid,
Not
right?
just commercials, by the way. I just saw a post on Facebook a while back, a couple months ago, that had all the like a bunch of TV dads in one picture, like they superimposed them all in one picture.
Mhm,
And it was like the best Gen X, TV dad generation of all time or whatever. And it had like the Family Matters dad and the Home Improvement dad and the right and all these like really strong male role model dads that were on TV for a while. And then that went away. And then this new generation of TV dads, if the dad was around at all, by the way,
right.
and it was more like Everybody Loves Raymond, right?
Mhm,
And like that, like he couldn't do a thing right, and mom
right.
and the wife ran the show, and his
Mhm,
parents ran the show, and like
mhm.
it kind of went down that road. Is that kind of that's what you're talking about?
Yeah, there's an ad we have for a grocery store, all right, in
Okay.
which the guy is in the car, afraid to get out of the car to go into a new grocery store. I mean, give me a break.
By the way, just for the record, I do most I in almost 27. So June of this year will be 27 years. My wife and I have been married. In 27 years, I've done more grocery shopping than she has. So I'm the one that cooks all the time. So I'm the one that usually goes to the store
Sure,
all the time. So
right.
so there you go. I'm bucking the system already. Uh, so that misconception drives me crazy. So
But we're heading in this direction,
yeah,
all right,
true.
where actually boys are not going to college at the same rate that they used to go to college. They're dropping out of school younger and younger, all right? They're more truant than girls are. We're just heading in this direction of undermining our male population.
Yeah. I could not agree more. And there's so many ways we're doing that, and so many consequences that we're seeing because of that.
Mhm.
Even now, just over the last 10 or 20 years of that being a gradual thing,
Right?
and
And
so
we need to take it seriously. We need to
yes,
change.
yes, we do. And that's not to mention just the whole thing about dads not, what if the dad's not even in the picture in the first place, right? That's a whole nother ball of wax we could cover on a whole
Yes.
nother show. But even when they are in, if there is an actual like two parent mom and dad, mom, because kids need both, by the way, everybody, just in case you weren't sure. Kids need both a mom and a dad in the house to thrive. And so I know that's controversial nowadays to say that for some
Mhm.
reason, but it's true.
It's true.
The best outcome comes when there is a mom and a dad in
Right.
the household full time all the time. So, but yeah, no, I totally agree with you, and I definitely want to dive down that
Mm,
road with you. But
good.
we're gonna go take just a short. I'm gonna take just a short little 1 minute time to acknowledge our sponsor real quick, and then I will bring you right back, and we'll dive right in. So thank you for being here, Gloria.
I'm on the diving board.
Yes, bring it on. All right, everybody. I'll tell you what. This is what I want to talk to you about. I am super excited about one of our amazing sponsors, which is that's not the one. button pusher, there we go. Welcome to live TV, everybody. I got the wrong button. I want to talk to you about a company that I have found out about not that long ago. So I just kind of stumbled onto them, honestly, and it's been incredibly interesting to learn more. So for those of you that have been watching, or maybe this is your first show, but you're going to get this impression of me very quickly. I am always looking for very simple, very natural ways to support my health without doing anything crazy. In fact, I have a free download that when I go on other TV shows and other podcasts and in-person speaking and things all over the place, I have a free download that's literally called Jeff's top 7 ways to stay out of the ER. As somebody that lives with an invisible condition, that's an important list of things. And all of them, they start with something very simple. They gradually go towards the more invasive, but very gradually, very slowly. And if you have to, you go to the urgent care at the end of the list. But I like natural ways of supporting my health if I can help it. So I found a company called Healthy Home, and they have got some of the most amazing, well thought out wellness resources I've ever seen. So stuff that supports your body's ability to do what it already wants to do, and it already knows how to do for healing in the realms of things like repair, cell repair, balancing your hormones, improving your circulation, improving your health of your skin or your joints. I've been digging into it a little bit, learning how it works, and it honestly just makes sense. It's nothing crazy. It just supports what your body already knows how to do and wants to do to help you heal. And so if you are even mildly curious, scan the QR code or call this number right here. And a very nice lady will pick up the phone and answer your questions. And then you go to the website and check it out. So just wanted to give you that because I value it, and I wanted you to have an opportunity to check it out and see what you think. So there you go. I'm going to take that down, and then we will bring Gloria back. And here we go. All right. Thank you for being here, Gloria. I did think of something while you were talking a few minutes ago. We were saying something about the different conflicts and wars and things that have been going on the last 100 years or so, and like your grandparents, my grandparents, have all gone through something, right? Like back in the early 1900s, it was World War I, and then in the 40s, it was World War II, and then, the 60s and 70s was Vietnam, and then it was, and so everybody, all the generations have had something to deal with. And everybody, and just like in the medical world, in the invisible condition world, everybody sees their generation's tragedy that they assign that tragedy to as something that was traumatic for them, right? Mm-hmm. And so World War I, World War II, Vietnam, like those were obviously pretty traumatic. But now we're coming up on the generation of like mine, like I never, like the Gulf War maybe, but that wasn't close to home, right? And so maybe 9/11 was kind of my, I was in my early 20s when 9/11 hit, and it was like, oh my gosh, what's happening here, and my kids' generation. So I've got a 22-year-old daughter, a 19-year-old son, and a 16-year-old daughter. So when COVID hit, that was their
trauma,
right? Their thing, their generational defining, traumatic event. And I, at one point, I kind of made a statement to my oldest daughter that looking back now, I kind of wish I would have kicked myself in the mouth and stopped myself from saying it, because it was kind of silly to say it. But now that I think about it, but at the time I was like, well, like your generation has never really had there's never really been a tragedy in your generation. Like there was no wars. There's never been like buildings blowing up in New York City.
Right.
Or,
you left out emotional
tragedy. Like you guys have been spoiled rotten. Like everything is at your fingertips. Everything is like, and she's like, Dad, what about COVID? I was like, what about COVID? That's
an emotional tragedy for that generation, a significant emotional tragedy, not to be able to go to school,
Oh my
interact with
gosh.
peers, have access to my girlfriends
Yeah.
on a regular basis to process everything that's happening to me, my family, body changes that are happening,
Yeah.
relationships,
Yeah.
to be isolated. We're born connected to another human
Yes.
being, right?
And
We
and-
thrive in connection.
yes.
That isolation is really traumatic
It
for
was.
them.
And not to mention, if you were younger, if you were like, I worked at a school at the time.
Mhm.
I was an armed guard at a private Christian school at the time. I was there for several years, and that and it was during COVID was part of one of the years that I was there, and I watched kindergarten and preschool teachers try to teach these little 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 year olds with masks over their face.
I
And
know.
not to mention trying to get these little kids to even, when they came back to school, to even get them to wear them. And God, what a nightmare that was.
Right.
And so, but watching them.
Right. And think about the preschooler who had to be home, right?
Yeah, that
With
too.
mom and dad,
Right.
working from home, right? Because they
Yeah.
weren't allowed to go into offices.
And we-
I mean, the
like-
trauma of that. My
Yeah.
mom's available, my dad's available, but they won't pay attention to me, spend any time with me because they're working. All right.
Yeah.
I'm 3, I'm 4. I don't understand that.
No.
That's a
Nope.
serious emotional trauma.
And from what I heard from some of those kindergarten and preschool teachers, and even early elementary teachers, especially the preschool and kindergarten, though, where you couldn't see their mouth moving, and so the language skills when they're coming into 2,
Right.
3, 4 years old, it was so hard. So I mean, like I said, please don't email me a bunch of hate mail to everybody. Seriously, I did not understand.
You're sorry for saying that.
I just didn't understand. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to minimize a generation's hardship there, because
Right.
it was. I mean, my oldest daughter had to do her senior prom in a very different way. It was in 2021,
Mhm.
and it was like they were still doing like outside in the parking lot. You
Right.
couldn't even go in the gym and do a regular
Right.
prom like every other year. And she missed out on so much that year. And that every other year before her got to do it, and every year after her got to do it.
Right.
And so
That's right.
that too can be damaging and impactful on your health, your emotional health.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there, because I know that there's people out there that that probably said the same. Because, like I said, every generation thinks theirs is the thing, and then everything else is it's all relative, right?
Well, generation after generation, right? We have traumas that we cope with.
Yeah.
But I would say, in my work, right,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on little boys and men have a larger trauma to face than women do, because
so?
we rob men of access to their feeling states. We intentionally do it, right? And we don't recognize that we're doing it, but we do it intentionally.
Is that like the suck it up buttercup principle here?
Right? Well,
How dare you cry? Don't show emotion.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
And that starts what? When you start to walk, right? You're allowed to cry until you walk.
Until you figure it out. And then you're not.
When you start to walk and move around on your own, suddenly your parents don't like it that you cry. Right? Your relatives don't like it that you cry. Big boys don't cry. Right?
Yeah.
We limit the emotional range that a male can use to express himself. And then we tease them if they happen to step over that line and, get emotional in any way. They get teased like crazy.
Relentlessly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I have experience in that, because so in the recent past, I was just talking about our good friend, Dr. Pauline Dillard. and I mentioned that
Mm-hmm.
can't remember if I said it on air or not, but we're seeing her again.
You're seeing her, right?
You're right. And because we've realized, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I got nothing to hide from you guys. I have just been realized that, and this is a real thing. I know PTSD gets overused a lot. That's like, oh my gosh, I almost, you insulted me. Now I have PTSD. No, you don't. That's not PTSD. It's real. It's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Live with it every day. And starting with my introduction to the world at 2 weeks old with emergency brain surgery, and then having, 15 surgeries over my lifetime, 7 brain surgeries back to back. By the time I was 2 years old, I probably had half a dozen surgeries under my belt already, including 2 brain surgeries. So medical PTSD, not to mention the last 10 or 12 years with all the crazy side effects and all the stuff that happened during those. And we don't have time to get into all that. But all I'm saying is medical PTSD is real.
It's real.
And I was just recently officially diagnosed with it by somebody. And looking back now, I know some people say diagnoses, like you get that diagnosis and you use it as an excuse. No. You get that diagnosis and then you can look back and go, oh my gosh,
that makes
the rest
sense.
of my life makes sense now. Look at all the responses that I had when I was a kid that were way overblown to very simple things but it was because of that. It was because of the after effects and the permeation, it permeated everything in my life, And so it's just fascinating to peel back that layer of the onion now and say, okay, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, very important, because then you have to clear out the barnacles, right?
Yeah.
There are things that have become attached to those traumas.
Yes.
And you have to decide, do those attachments belong to you or not?
Right.
And most of them do not really belong to you. They're the barnacles, and that you need to take them off of your craft so that you can head towards the sea with great enthusiasm.
And yes, and I would also say for any, especially men that are out there right now that are watching. I mean, I'm almost 49 years old, so I'm kind of in the, for those of you watching, kind of like a lot of us are in the same boat here. It's okay. Like emotional expression is okay. Like it is not the enemy. And if you are being told that it is, then you need to find somebody else to listen to.
Well, you need to recognize that you've been given that message since birth.
Yes.
Right? Whether you recognize it, whether mother recognizes it or not, right? We know that boys are born with a broader range of emotional capability and expression than girls are. And so when mother is taking care of the male infant and he expresses emotion that's more intense, either on a positive end, giddier, sillier, ridiculous, or on the negative end, right, angrier, meaner, more distressed, mother gives a negative reaction to that that's really passive and unintentional. Right? Maybe she moves back like that. Maybe she gives a funny face. Maybe she makes a comment, right? And the tone of voice is, hey, what's wrong with you? Or don't do that. Or that's scary, right? And so the infant is brilliant because survival for the infant is reading the environment. Yes. So if mother turns away, right? If mother backs up a little bit, the infant immediately processes, oops, don't do that again.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That's a bad thing to do.
Connected, and I need to stay connected for survival. So don't do that again. So infant males immediately narrow the range of expression that they will let themselves access. And that's powerful.
It is. It's terrifying, honestly. It's crazy how young you form that. Like it's
right
so
in
young.
infancy. And then we do this social thing when they get on their feet, honestly, when they get on their feet and they start walking around. right? We are rigid about the emotional expression that's acceptable from a boy.
Huh.
Girls get full range, all right?
Right. Yeah.
They can cry, they can yell and scream, they can stomp their feet, and somehow we accept it, we make
Yeah.
fun of it sometimes, but it's all right for a girl to do any of that emotional expression.
Hmm.
But if a boy cries, what happens?
What a wuss.
There it is.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. Yeah.
What's wrong with
Yeah.
you? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. We cut it out. We
Suck
tell
it up,
them
buttercup. Yeah.
everything that falls kind of on the negative end of the continuum that
Mm.
expresses how you're feeling, not acceptable. Don't do it.
Oh man. Yeah. And we're guilty of it too. We fall into that conditioning too. We're like, and so
Absolutely.
we see maybe your parents do it, or your, this is people in society, or your
Yeah,
teachers, or you see it from such a young age that you start saying it too. Even
absolutely.
if you do it yourself, you see somebody else do it, and you're like, oh, come on, you
Yeah,
know? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
wow,
so then you become an adult, right? You develop an intimate relationship with someone else, and suddenly your
yeah,
partner expects that you will have access to those feelings that have been cut off for decades. Decades. Sorry, you will not have access to those. It's not
not
possible.
necessarily. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're going to have to work at it. I mean,
Yeah,
you probably, I mean, for the most part, you will probably have to work pretty hard to crack
you
that
would
shell.
you
I
have
mean,
to work very
yeah,
hard to regain access to
yeah,
those tender or critical feelings
yeah,
of sadness, distress. Go to a funeral, right?
yeah.
Go to a funeral, all right, and take a look, all right? The women are weeping,
Yes.
and the men are going,
For the most part, yes. Yeah. 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 I would agree with that.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
We do men a real disservice by cutting them off from the natural emotions that they're born with.
Yeah. It's true. It's true, because then it's lifelong damage that you're
It
doing
is,
to that man,
right?
that young man, that boy. It is. And then you look and you wonder why we struggle later, you
Yeah,
know?
right.
Man,
Yeah, it's inevitable,
it
right?
is. And I'm not trying to, I'm like, please, no, this again, no hate mail, please. We're not trying to blame anybody. We're not trying to say, well, you moms, or you wives, or this group of men, or those women, or those, like,
No, we,
it's
we
not,
we all participate in it.
we all
It's
do
just
it.
a
Yeah. It's
cultural
all
norm.
of us. Yeah. It just men seem to be, nowadays, the pendulum has gone that direction, right? It never sits still. It always goes back and forth. And so right now it's the men are not able to, you can't do that, you know?
So the question is, what do we do about it, right?
Right.
Do we really take it seriously? Do we make changes in the way that we raise our little boys? Do we make changes in the expectations we have for boys in
Yeah.
elementary and middle school? Do we educate them about
Yeah.
feeling states? Right. And if not, then, do we encourage them as adults to dive into men's groups, retreats,
Yeah.
therapy in order to regain access to those parts of themselves? Because it is
Totally.
important to regain access.
It is. Yeah. That's huge. I am very excited to dive into that too, because we're gonna go to one more. I'm gonna talk about one more sponsor, and then we're gonna dive right into that, because that's huge. And that reminds me of the men's retreat that I went to. Yeah, oh man, it's almost 14 years ago, the last men's retreat I went to. So I think I'm due. I think it's time to
You're
go back. It was
You're
in 2012. So yeah, and it was amazing. And so yeah, let's talk about that in just a minute. So we'll come back to that in 1 second. in the meantime, I want to chat with you about this right. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. The button pusher. That's the one. There it is. I told you at the beginning of the show we were going to talk about this. Hydro with Hope is the nonprofit side of Invisible Condition. And so Hydro with Hope, hydro short for hydrocephalus, which is the condition I was born with. It is a big deal. Hydrocephalus affects hundreds of thousands. There are over 400,000 babies born with this every single year. It is ridiculously common. In fact, if you have a couple hundred or a couple thousand friends on Facebook, you probably have 2 or 3 of them that probably either know somebody or they themselves have hydrocephalus or have experience with it. It's that common. So what I want to show you is that Hydro with Hope is here with practical resources like this, like our journal. It's called My Hydro Warrior Story, and it is a 150-page fill-in-the-blank journal that helps people walk through the trauma and the craziness that is brain surgery, sometimes emergency brain surgery. I've been there. And so the idea is to fill in the blank in this journal, fill in the blank journal. There's places where you can put pictures. There's places where you can keep track of medical records, places where you can, jot down questions and just write and write and write, just emotional download if you need to. This is a big deal. And so brain surgery is no joke. And so I want you to be able to express what's going on and be able to have things to bring to your doctor at those follow-up appointments so that you aren't caught with the cat having your tongue and not knowing what questions to ask because you've written them down ahead of time. And so also, I love talking to families that are new to this or oh my gosh, we have to do another surgery and I don't know what to do. Please reach out to me. This link happens to be a donation link. So if you feel led, if you feel like giving in somebody else's name that maybe that lives with this, I am eternally thankful for any and all donations that we get because it's what allows us to be able to get these in people's hands that need them, and then also allows us, my wife and I, to speak at different places so that we can spread the hope that brain surgery is not the end. Brain surgery is just the beginning, and you can still thrive. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be amazing, and brain surgery should not stop you from living life. So I want to help you with that. And so, thank you in advance for any and all donations that you feel led to give. And all right, I want to bring Gloria back on here so we can continue the conversation here. So, all right, there we go. Gloria, thank you for
you're welcome.
There.
That's a great resource. I love the book.
Thank you. You know what? I put that together in such a short amount of time because I had like 45 years of experience with this crazy condition at the time. And I was like, you know what? I wish I had this, and I wish I had this, and this, and this, and this, and this when I went through all those brain surgeries. So it came together pretty quick, but it's pretty cool. So,
well, yeah. I love it because I've published a journal book myself, right? That helps people just explore what any part of their life.
Yeah.
So that's a great resource.
Thank you. And we're working on what I would love to do next. I'm not sure if it'll be this year or next year, but I would love to do similar books for similar, for other conditions that like.
Great. That's a great idea.
Chiari malformation or, whatever, different conditions that people are not super familiar with that they can have.
That's great.
Kind of resource. So
a great idea.
Anyway, yeah, thank you. So, all right, what were we talking about?
We're talking about men,
That's
right? And how men don't have access to their feeling states and how important it is for them to take that seriously and to work on regaining access. You had access. It hasn't disappeared. It's still all in your brain.
Yep.
Your brain is wonderful, right? It houses everything. It doesn't let go of anything.
No, it does not. All the way from conception forward, and some would even say before that. So,
right. We do have memories from the last trimester in utero. We know that, and we also have DNA from previous generations So that tells us we could access information from previous generations
Yeah.
as well. In fact, I have a case study
Yeah.
about that. I worked with a woman, an adult woman, who as a child would have this repeat nightmare.
Hmm.
And she would wake up screaming, and she described to her parents what this was. They had no idea of any connection until grandparents came, right? And the grandparents were available during one of these episodes, and the grandparents were shocked, right? Just blown away out of their socks because the story that she was experiencing was a real story that had happened to their parents.
What?
Yeah.
The grandparents, one of their parents.
One of their parents.
Okay.
Right. And it's a trauma story of running from danger.
Oh my God.
Right. In a war situation. And it plagued this little girl until there was information that it's a real story. Right. So that's what the DNA in your head can actually do. We're very interesting creatures.
Yeah. Yes,
we
agree.
Do hold on to everything. All right. So the boy who's been limited in emotional expression has not lost access. It's just been boxed away. All right. Or it's been put in a, big safe, and you just need to find the right combination to open it up. And you can all do that. Men, women, you can have access to earlier pieces of information. You just have to find the right pathway to unlock that piece that's been held in storage. And these early experiences really do impact how you function in the present.
Oh, 100%.
If you're shy, for example, or only in certain situations, right, do you tend to kind of hold back and not participate unless you're really seriously invited? I will tell you, there's an early childhood experience that you've had in which you in some way were shamed or aggressively approached to be quiet or to shut down. And it's that trigger that's happening for you. And once you can uncover the trigger, you don't have to have that experience anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Our brain holds on to everything, and pieces of the past jump into the present without our really realizing that they are.
Yeah, and so maybe the message here is if you or I mean, come on, husbands, wives out there, like, this is for both of you, because if you're married, then I know we've focused a lot on the men today. We've focused a lot, but if, like, for me, I've had 4 emergency brain surgeries between 2014 and 2021. You don't think my wife she went through it too? You know what I mean? Like I was asleep during all that, like I didn't have to.
Traumas.
The trauma goes both ways. So if you're listening and just because you're listening and you're not, a man listening, because we've been focusing on men, you're not off the hook. Because maybe you're married to a man. So there you go. And we want you to be able to help him, and maybe you need to seek help, and that's totally good too. I mean, my sister wouldn't stop talking until I called
until you did.
She's like, no, really, you should. Jeff, did you call her? Hey, did you call her yet?
So the message really is getting emotional help, getting mental therapy is good for everybody, because we all store things that limit who we can be in the present. And when you uncover what those limitations are, you get to choose. Do I hold on to this? do I let go of this? All right. And the majority of time, these are barnacles on your boat. You're going to let go of them, right? You're going to send them into the ocean.
Yeah, man. We were just talking about that on a previous show. I think maybe it was last week or something. You all, if you've been watching for a while, you know Michelle Cooling, who's my co-host a couple times a month. We were just talking about that agency and like you get to choose what stays and what goes, right? It's not, you're not a victim. Like you can let it go.
Right.
If and in a recent show in the past, she actually walked me through that exercise.
That's
on
great.
the air. It was crazy, but it was really cool. And so,
really true.
there is choice.
Mhm.
You do have a choice.
But you can't choose until you can uncover the history, right? Until you
Maybe.
can kind of know what that connection is, then you really can't choose to let it go. And
You gotta,
or does it belong to you, right? Sometimes we carry burdens that belong to other family members. So we have to figure out, does this belong to me? If so, do I want to transform it in some way? Do I want to let go of it? Do I want to hold on to it? And so we can answer all of those questions. That's the value of self-discovery and therapy.
Totally. And I'm telling you, if you are, I mean, we got about a minute and a half left. We're almost out of time. But if you, I mean, this is why we've had this QR code here this whole time, because as we're talking about all this, I'm hoping that people are going, oh my gosh, I want to learn more, and scanning the QR code or putting a comment in Facebook or YouTube so that Gloria can get back with you. So, so in the last, I don't know, 60 to 90 seconds, what would you like to leave our audience with today?
I would like everyone to understand that they have value, and that if you take yourself seriously, you will want to take a deeper dive into your own history and free up more of the parts of you that you're naturally born with, but have been stunted, tucked away, denied.
Yeah.
Give yourself an opportunity to grow.
Yes, I love it. And the first step is, and I love that you're virtual. So that you do
take a risk. All right. Maybe do a journal book, buy my journal book, do that. All right. Take a risk, reach out, put time on the calendar.
Yeah.
Take yourself seriously.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Scan the QR code, everybody. Come on, do it. Get on the calendar. I mean, if you haven't, if you've been watching this for the last hour and you don't think there's value in this, then I'm not sure what you were listening to, because this is great. So
caring for yourself is valuable. It'll pay off.
That's right. 100%. Man, Gloria, thank you so much for being here. This has been great. I've enjoyed it so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it very much.
Absolutely. Awesome. Oh man. Okay, everybody. That was good stuff. I love it. And I hope you learned something. I know I did. I usually do. I don't know everything about everything, so this is great. I love having guests on that are talking about all these different things, because I love learning stuff, and this is no exception. So so thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, no matter where you're watching from. And like, follow, share, subscribe, all the things, especially on social media. Subscribe to that YouTube channel so you'll get that reminder next time we have an episode. And by the way, the next episode will be Friday, February 27th. And so join us that day. And until then, have an amazing day. We'll see you next time.